Saturday, July 3rd, 1976. Over 2,500 miles into hostile enemy territory, an elite team of IDF commandos in the Tier 1 unit, Sayeret Matkal, sweep a Ugandan airport after a cell of hijackers overtake an Air France flight from Tel Aviv to Paris, holding 246 passengers hostage, leading to one of the most daring rescue missions in modern-day history. In 1967, following the aftermath of the infamous Six-Day War between Israel and its Arab neighbors, several Palestinian groups merged into one, creating a Marxist-Leninist militant group dubbed the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, in order to more directly engage and challenge Israel, beginning with a successful hijacking of El Al Flight 426 in 1968, where the group overtook a flight from Rome to Tel Aviv, holding the passengers hostage for nearly 40 days before negotiating their release. And by 1969, the PFLP would hijack yet another aircraft at Sayeret Airport by opening fire on board and killing one crew member. Although Swiss police arrested the attackers, the group's broader efforts were far from over, as on September 6th of 1970, the PFLP coordinated the hijackings of 4 planes: TWA Flight 741, Swiss Air Flight 100, Pan Am Flight 93, and British Overseas Airways. 3 of these planes were flown to Dawson's Field, a remote airstrip in Jordan, while the 4th plane was taken to Cairo. Although the PFLP released most of the passengers, they blew up the planes simultaneously after several days of failed negotiations. Then, only 2 years later, on May 8th of 1972, 4 PFLP and Black September operatives hijacked a Sabena airliner en route from Brussels to Tel Aviv. The plane was forced to land in Tel Aviv, and Israeli commandos, including future Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, stormed the plane and successfully rescued the passengers, killing 2 hijackers and captured the remaining others. And on May 30th of 1972, in collaboration with the Japanese Red Army, the PFLP orchestrated an attack on Lod Airport in Tel Aviv, as 3 members of the Japanese Red Army opened fire with automatic weapons and threw grenades at passengers arriving at the airport. The attack resulted in 26 deaths and 80 injuries, many of them Puerto Rican Christian pilgrims. And by June 27th of 1976, the PFLP and 2 Germans, Wilfried Bose and Brigitte Coleman, from the German revolutionary cells, set their sights on Air France Flight 139, a 246-passenger flight bound from Paris via Tel Aviv. And as the plane landed for connection in Athens, it picked up an additional 58 passengers, including the 4 hijackers. And shortly after taking off at 12:30 p.m., the flight was overtaken and diverted to Benghazi, where the hijackers refueled for 7 hours. They released a British-born Israeli passenger who feigned a miscarriage. Then, the flight left Benghazi and arrived at Entebbe Airport at 3:15 p.m. on June 28th, where the hijackers were supported by Ugandan dictator Idi Amin. Soon after, the hostages were deplaned and moved into an older terminal building, where at least 4 more PFLP operatives were waiting. Meanwhile, members of the Israeli government anxiously awaited the hijackers' demands. And on June 29th, all Israeli and non-Israeli passengers were separated, and Amin visited the hostages almost daily, promising to negotiate their release by demanding a $5 million ransom and the freedom of 53 Palestinian and pro-Palestinian prisoners, including 40 held in Israel. By this point, 148 non-Israelis were released and flown to Paris, while the remaining 94 and the 12-man crew were informed they'd be killed by July 1st if their demands were not met by their government. Israel explored political solutions to the crisis, with then Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin favoring negotiations, while Defense Minister Shimon Peres pushed for military action, even seeking the help of the United States to influence Egyptian President Anwar Sadat to influence his longtime friend, Amin. And according to recently declassified documents, the Egyptian government attempted to broker a deal with Uganda and the PFLP, but failed. And as the July 1st deadline neared, Israel requested an extension, which Amin granted until July 4th, giving Israel enough time for its elite commandos to plan a hostage rescue mission in Entebbe. But before we get into the action, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Aura. Recently, Hackers may have stolen the social security numbers of every American. After over 2.9 billion records were stolen from national public data, and these hackers have reportedly released this information online for free. And national public data can undo the damage done, but Aura can help protect what matters most. Because Aura alerts me if they find my phone number, email, or social security number on the dark web, immediately notifying me if someone tries to use my information. And Aura works around the clock to protect and keep your data and personal information away from data leaks and data brokers. And by automatically opting out of data broker lists, Aura has significantly reduced the number of robocalls that I receive, giving me a peace of mind and helping secure my information. But that's not all they do. Aura provides comprehensive protection that includes antivirus software, a VPN for secure browsing, secure password management, identity theft insurance, and even credit monitoring, all in one single app. You don't need to manage multiple subscriptions to multiple apps on your phone. Aura consolidates everything you need into one convenient platform, saving you time, money, and storage. If you'd like to stick it to robocallers and protect your information, I highly recommend checking out Aura. They're even offering you guys a 2-week free trial. Simply go to aura.com/popomedic or click the link in the description and protect you and your family's information today. On July 3rd, at approximately 6:30 p.m., the Israeli cabinet approved the rescue mission, dubbing the mission Operation Thunderbolt, and the op was set to commence on the evening of July 4th, with C-130s transporting over 100 commandos over 2,500 miles to Uganda. And with the assistance from the British government, MI6 Chief Oldfield contacted Kenya's Minister of Agriculture, Bruce Mackenzie, to gather intelligence and let Israeli commandos refuel in Nairobi. And soon, the IDF built a partial replica of the terminal and rehearsed the mission thoroughly. The Israeli force, comprising of 100 commandos, included various specialized elements. The primary assault team of 29 men was led by Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Netanyahu, brother of now Prime Minister Netanyahu. Paratroopers led by Colonel Matan Vilnai were tasked with securing a perimeter around the airport, as the Sayeret Matkal were assigned to secure the military airstrip and destroy a squadron of MiG fighter jets on the ground, preventing potential interception by the Ugandan Air Force, while also acting as a blocking force in the event additional forces arrived from Entebbe. And following the international flight paths over the Red Sea, the C-130s flew at an altitude below 100 feet. And on July 4th, at 11 p.m., the Israeli force landed at Entebbe. The first 707, equipped with medical supplies, landed at Kenyatta International Airport to treat any wounded from the operation. With no runway lights, one C-130 nearly crashed into a drainage ditch. And as the cargo bay opened, a black Mercedes rolled down the ramp. This Mercedes was a Trojan horse prop to approach the terminal, as Amin drove a similar vehicle. But unexpectedly, the guards on the ground ordered the vehicle to stop. And at this time, the first group of commandos in the lead Land Rover shot the sentries using suppressed MP5s. But one operator in a following vehicle fired an unsuppressed rifle, potentially alerting the hijackers. Now realizing the urgency, the commandos drove straight to the terminal while shouting through a megaphone in both Hebrew and English to alert the hostages they were friendlies. Tragically, Jean-Jacques Maimoni, a French immigrant living in Israel, was mistakenly shot and killed by the IDF, who mistook him for a hijacker. Another hostage, 52-year-old Pasco Cohen, was also fatally wounded during the initial exchange of gunfire. And 56-year-old Ida Barakovich, a Russian Jewish immigrant, was killed in the crossfire by a hijacker. As the commandos pushed forward, German operative Wilfried Bose emerged in the hall and pointed his AK at the hostages. He was then killed by the commandos after firing upon them. By this point, the hostages pointed to a door leading to the main hall, informing the commandos where the hijackers were hiding. The IDF threw several hand grenades into the room and stormed in, killing all three. Meanwhile, a series of C-130s unloaded armored vehicles to secure the area, while another group of the Sayeret Matkal destroyed the MiG fighters on the ground and began to clear the airfield, engaging with multiple Ugandan forces. As the raid concluded, the IDF returned to their aircraft and began loading hostages, but more Ugandan soldiers in the control tower above opened fire upon them. But the IDF responded with machine gun fire and RPGs, silencing the remaining Ugandan forces. The mission was considered a major success, with the Israeli commandos eliminating all hijackers, including 45 Ugandan soldiers, and destroying 11 of Uganda's MiG-17s and MiG-21 fighter jets. The operation resulted in 5 commandos wounded and 1 killed. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's brother, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Netanyahu. From the time they landed to liftoff, the mission lasted 53 minutes, with the raid only taking 30, during which 102 hostages were rescued, although 3 were killed. Dora Bloch, an elderly hostage who had been taken to the hospital before the raid, was murdered by Ugandan army officers. The pilot of the hijacked aircraft, Michael Bakos, was awarded the Legion of Honor by France, and the other crew members received the French Order of Merit for their bravery when they had the opportunity to leave. Once Amin confirmed that Kenya assisted Israel, his infamous temper flared, and he ordered the Ugandan military to kill all Kenyans in Uganda, resulting in the deaths of 245 and over 3,000 fled the country. On May 24th of 1978, Kenya's agricultural minister, Bruce Mackenzie, was assassinated when a bomb attached to his aircraft exploded after meeting with Amin. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more mini docs in the works, and you don't want to miss them. And be sure to check me out over on Instagram and X as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.